All right, 1, 2, 3.
Oh! Oh!
What's up, guys? We are here in, I don't even know where we're at. We're in Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
The desert.
Abu Dhabi.
We're in the desert.
Hobby Lobby.
As per Johnny Walker, we're in the desert. Really good time.
Funny.
Hopefully this podcast doesn't get stopped because they're gonna think that we don't know where we're at. But we got some big fights coming up this weekend.
Why are you throwing shots at Johnny Walker right now?
No, I'm not throwing shots at him. I'm throwing shots at the ref and the doctor that stopped the fight.
All right.
To begin with. But we're here, UFC 298. 7 January, 8 February, 9 March.
9 March.
7.
300 April.
Coming up. 300 gang. Pow. Super excited though. This is a big opportunity for Sean Strickland. I think this is gonna be a great fight. Plessis is a tough dude, but look, all respect and no disrespect given whatsoever. I like Plessis, but if I have to be honest, technically from a striking standpoint, he's like the guy who's not the most cleanest that keeps on winning. It's the most ridiculous thing in the sense of like, this is why you can't judge a book by its cover. It's just about the results with our sport. Because you're not gonna see someone hit a jump shot and do all kinds of crazy shit and it goes in all the time, right? But Plessis is the guy who will throw these punches at these odd angles and it'll clip you and it'll put you down. And it's like, you think it's the punch won't do anything, but that's just what he does.
It's just his power? Like, what do you think?
I think it's just the power, just a freak athlete.
He just fucks people up when he
really strong. Kind of reminds me of Elias Theodoro. Not the exact way that he'll throw his punches and throw like the getaway kicks.
Okay.
R.I.P. But what I'm saying is, in terms of the cleansiness of his technical striking, I just feel like it's not the cleanest when you look at an Izzy, when you look like a Strickland, when you look at even the guy Strickland beat Abu Magomedov or whatever his name, Magomed, the guy he fought on short notice at the Apex. There's a lot more technical looking guys, Nasima, Masadim, Imamov. I'm gonna botch all these names right now.
How many tequilas deep are you right
It
now?
has nothing to do with tequilas, bro.
Right.
It's all about just the name pronunciations. I can't say Abu Magomedov. Clearly. And I can't, Nasruddin Imamov.
Why do I know that but you don't? Why? What you like? you just like you like?
I'm trying here. It's a lot of names.
All right. Anyway.
But I'm saying when you look at guys like that from a technical standpoint, how clean they are. Even an Edmund Shabazian, clean technical strike. It might not be the best on the ground.
Or he looks like me. Yeah, I get this quite often. He's a handsome fellow. People get us confused. Same with me and Kelvin Gastelum.
Okay.
They call me Melvin Gastelum.
They call him Melvin. Welvin. This is Welvin Gastelum. So when I look back at Plessis, I feel like his striking isn't the greatest, but he's a great grappler. So then when I talk about this striking, it's like you look at the Whitaker fight, and I hope Plessis doesn't take this the wrong way if he even listens and gives a shit. But I think the consensus is out where most people feel the way that I feel. If you look at the way that Robert Whitaker fight was going in that first round, it was not looking good for him until he landed one of those awkward punches that just seemed to do Robert Whitaker in, rocked him, and from there, the little gut punch, and he was off to the races towards getting the finish. So that's kind of how I look at it.
The gut punch was nasty though.
It was clean.
That shit just sent him down.
Yeah, there's not many ways you could throw like a clean, like you go to the body, you go to the body. But when he's striking, like if you watch him hit pads, the way he's throwing these punches, it just doesn't look like he would hit pads that way. Like you think pads, you think someone like Leon Edwards, clean, da-da-da-da, kick, elbow, clean technique. I think it's fair to say, I'm not even saying I look like that, but I'm just saying Plessis does not look like that at all.
But you think Strickland's like a super technical guy?
I don't think he's like, when I say technical, I mean how crisp he looks when he's hitting.
Okay.
It's not about the technicality, it's about when you're throwing the punch. I guess it is about the technicality. It's like when you're throwing the punch or you're throwing the kick, how does it look from an aesthetic point of view? Like you throw a clean, oh, that's a pretty body kick when you're hitting the pass. You throw a cross, that's a pretty cross when you're throwing a cross, head off the center line. So if you're looking at someone based on techniques, one-off shots, or combinations and how they look, I don't think Plessis is the top of the food chain, but that dude is a badass and he keeps on winning. And I think that's the most important part. And that's what I'm most excited about with this fight with Sean Strickland.
I feel like it could go. I mean, this is gonna sound like super casual, but I'm like, it could go two ways. Sean Strickland gets clipped, or Sean Strickland just puts a clinic on him for 5 rounds. That's kind of how I see it going.
Yeah.
But when I think of like Sean Strickland, I don't feel like he's the most like imposing athlete.
Physically imposing.
Yeah, but and like it's not like he's the fastest, flashiest dude like Du Plessis is. Like Du Plessis is a menace, like athlete. Like he just is freakish. But then like when I think of like guys like Strickland fighting guys like that, I'm like, I always just think like how are you gonna survive Du Plessis?
Yeah.
Like how are you gonna survive that guy? Like same like with Conor and Chandler, it's kind of a similar example. I'm like, how is Conor gonna survive Chandler coming off the couch like that? But anyway, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
But that's just a similar example.
I get what you mean.
Like how does? But then again, Strickland's that good, and he barely ever gets hit, and he did it to Izzy.
Yeah. He did it really well to Izzy.
Yeah.
And you can make the argument, I know Izzy is like probably saying like he wasn't there or whatever, but you can make the argument about that. Like if you look at the intangibles, the things that we can't see, we only see what we see on fight night.
Yeah, that's what
People don't see the other stuff behind the scenes, what's going on, what you're dealing with. So when they say you're making excuses, even though it could be valid, people don't like that. So I'm only trying to go off what I see going on. And I think Strickland's got the goods where his style, walking you down, constantly in your face, that's a hard person to stop.
Wait, hold on. All right, I have a comparison. So I feel like another guy who doesn't look super technical and everything when they hit pads, but still kills people is Pereira. Right?
Nah.
You think?
I thought that in the beginning, right?
But like his hands are down, he's coming from his like hips.
That's like
it's not the most technical.
It's like a classical way of teaching, where they say don't hit pads. Like you can see Wonder Boy in kickboxers, they'll fight and they'll hit pads with their hands all the way down by their waist. But when they throw their strikes, pop, 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 straight line, twisting and turning over their punches, or whether it's a straight on strike, boom, straight down the center, and things like that, whether it's a side kick, push kick, round kick, but it's clean looking. But if it's just like, I feel like Du Plessis looks robotic, he looks stiff, it looks forced, it looks muscular and dangerous, but it doesn't look as crisp and as poppy where someone that can hit a punch and snap it and turn it over, you're like, yeah, that's a hard shot. Where he's just like, yo, that's a big brute force hitting you. Yeah. It's like, here's the perfect comparison in my opinion. For instance, Ngannou, before he has any fights, if he hits you, before he has any fights, ever hit pads, he hits you, a big ass dude like that.
Yeah.
It's just a freak of nature hitting you.
Yeah.
No matter how technical it is, it's gonna hurt, it's gonna put you down, and it could KO you.
Yes.
So if you put him on pads, his very first day in boxing, you put him on pads, it ain't gonna look the prettiest. I'm saying without no training. I'm not saying him watching TV, studying him, practicing on his own. I'm saying no training whatsoever, just a big brute guy like that. It just looks raw and unpolished, Du Plessis. But it's a means to an end, and it's effective because if he clips you, and this is why I try to tell people like fights are very different because it's not like shooting a jump shot. It's not like throwing a Hail Mary pass or someone hitting a cut or a post route or a square in, square out. That's all different. But when a guy in fighting, mano a mano, they just need to touch you, and the ultimate equalizer is power. And that's what Du Plessis has, that Sean has to worry about.
Yeah.
But I think Sean does a great job of negating that. The only time he didn't really do that very well was the Alex Pereira. Guess what he did? He went and go train with Alex Pereira and asked him, how did you knock me out?
That's pretty dope, actually.
How did you?
That's
Ego
so
aside.
Dope. Yeah. And
How'd
now
you knock me out?
Champion, bro.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So you look at that, a guy who's willing to learn, a guy who's gonna get better, gonna improve. Now he's got another brute force in front of him. You know if he touches you, it's gonna be problems. It could be curtains. But I think Sean's just smart enough at this point in his career. And I even told him, I was like, yo, do what you do. Before I left Vegas, come out here, I was like, yo, bro, be you, do what you do. And I think good things are gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I think you just got trusted, not get wrapped up in the whole drama and everything. I let that happen in my last fight.
Yeah.
And even though, I want to make the fight super exciting.
Yeah.
He's probably thinking I got to answer for my words. I can't make it a boring fight.
Yeah.
He's got to stay within himself
Okay.
and do what he needs to do to win.
So I was gonna ask you, there is a lot of like beef between the guys. Like
Yeah.
they fought at UFC 296.
I don't know.
One of the last pay-per-views.
Australia, whatever.
Yeah. They had a fist fight where Sean asked Gilbert Burns.
Oh, that was in
to
the
get
crowd.
out
That
of
was
the
in the
way.
crowd. That was in the crowd. Yeah.
They had a fight there because Du Plessis was talking about Sean's upbringing, and Sean is like, Sean got actually really emotional about. We've seen him a couple times get really emotional about this. On Theo Von's podcast when Sean was talking about his upbringing.
But that was afterwards.
No, I know, but I'm just giving you two examples. So we know this really. My point is, it really emotionally affects him. What Plessis said about Sean's upbringing.
But is that good?
I'm asking you.
Or is it
this
bad?
This is what I'm getting to. Do you think that will help Sean like lock in and like get the job done, or do you think that'll maybe deter him from the task at hand and put emotions in his head that might not necessarily actually help him in a war in the octagon?
Yeah. You know,
I don't know.
I've only known Sean a few short years, and even within those short years, it's not like we have a ton of hours with each other. So it's hard for me to really say what's in his mind, how is he thinking. I do feel like from the outside looking in, sometimes he might be a little, and I hope I'm not like misspeaking or saying too much, or my observation is not like overstepping, because I don't want to disrespect anybody. I do feel like on his way up, he was a little bit like unsure of himself. Like he knew he was good and talented, but he was unsure of himself because his upbringing. You know, when you come from a certain place in your life, even for me, like sometimes when I'm at where I'm at today, and sometimes I feel like I don't deserve to be here. I'm like, how can a kid like me be in this position that grew up like this? Yeah. And I think Sean and I relate in that way, where he comes up, he'll say it jokingly. Oh, I'm fucking white trash, bro. I'm white trash, bro. I'm sorry, man. I'm stupid. He'll say crazy shit like that. I'm listening to him talking like, damn, you sound like me, except I don't say this shit out loud to people. This is just stuff that I tell myself in like the dark as I was coming up, because I just didn't think I was good enough. Like, yeah, I might talk bullshit, but it was just insecurities, because I'm like, I can't not say shit. I gotta talk shit to hopefully it's enough to scare off my opponents or whatever, or my friends that are talking shit to me. I gotta kind of rise to the occasion. I can't be the punk who just gets shit talked the whole time and not be able to dish something back out. So with that, it could be good or it could be bad, and I just don't know him enough to know how well this is going to actually feel him. He said he would stab the dude.
So that's why, like.
He said he's gonna stab the dude if he brings it up again. He's like, listen, you bring that shit up again. Like, I'm telling you straight up, I'm shaking that ass, bro.
Seen him
UK style with the men them.
Literally get into a fight over this because he was so offended. He's threatening to stab him. He gets on Theo Von's podcast. He's crying about it, which is not bad at all. I'm just saying it clearly, like,
he's vulnerable about it.
And that was after it got brought up by Plessis. So it was kind of like, I feel like it was almost like when he went on Theo Von's podcast, it was like an explanation of why
it affected him so much,
or
so it resonates with him so much.
And it's like, then he brings it up again with the stabbing thing. Like, clearly, like, it's like in him that he wants to like avenge that disrespect.
No, of course, but he even says like, yo, we're gonna try to murder each other already. He's like, but just let you know, if you actually bring that up again, there are repercussions outside of fighting where I'm gonna transcend fighting and try to I'm gonna try to shank you.
But do you think being that emotionally affected by something is a good fuel or a bad fuel?
It means he cares. It means he gives a shit. But whether or not him giving a shit is going to be enough for him to focus. Leon Edwards, Kobe Covington bringing up his dad.
Yeah.
And then he's at the weigh-ins and he's saying, I was in character. I was like, come on, bro. I was like, one, you had Leon. That's one. And I like Leon. I'm not saying he should have done this, but I'm saying if this is your shtick, you had Leon.
Yeah, stick to
You
it.
had him.
Yeah.
And then two, as he confronts you, you curl back and you go, I was in character. So you save face to Leon in the sense like, I'm trying to explain to you like, bro, I'm not a piece of shit. I swear. I'm telling you, I was just in character. That's how that looks to me. But now you lose the edge that you might have had, because now he's like, yo, he's just a clown. I'm gonna try to treat it like that and not get emotionally riled up. Now Plessis is in the same position where it's like, he can exploit that and be a complete savage and go off and constantly keep talking about it. And it's gonna be up to Sean on how he responds. And I think that's the toughest part about being an athlete. People get in your head, people trash talk. We know Kobe Bryant, we know LeBron James, we know all these great athletes, Draymond Green, these guys that trash talk crazy. Sitting there and they sizing you up, and you gotta be ready to play ball, man. You gotta just have thick enough skin to kind of get through it or not let it get to you, so you could try to be as great as you can be on the night that it matters the most. So I don't know if it affects him. Yeah. To answer your question, I don't know if it affects him that badly. Sean seems to be a very emotionally driven guy, and that's why I had to say something. I felt like I don't know what's gonna happen, and I don't know how much my words mean to him. I do think there is a respect factor there, and that's why I felt like I had to say, Sean, man, like, yo, you just be you, man. Like, focus on what you can focus on and be you. And it was short words, short interaction.
What did he say?
I think he was just like, thank you, and I said, I appreciate it, man, and that was it. He was about to hit pads, and I was on my way out. I think it was after our sparring day. He came in, he sparred in the morning, got his workout in the evening on my way out, and I was just wanted to give him my blessings before I left. Like,
Nice.
you know, I want to see people do well, especially people that I actually know.
Yeah.
And I didn't like Sean the most when I first met him. I thought he was an arrogant guy who just talked too much, acted like he knew it all,
Yeah.
and didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Then the more I watched him in the room,
Yeah.
the more I began to realize there's a method to his madness. He's smarter than what he appears and what he gives off to the public.
Yeah.
He's actually very
There's some
intelligent
depth
what
there.
he's getting up here.
Yeah.
It might not be like intellectually from like a textbook standpoint, but he's a smart dude, understanding the fight game. He could break it down. He could give you great corner advice and walk you through what's happening. You're just like, I did not know you had that in you, bro. I
Yeah.
did not know. So I respect him a lot in that regards, and I do hope he has a great fight. And with that said, I'm taking Sean in 3.
Sean's gonna get him done.
I think he's Sean in 3. I know Duplessis had the whole nose thing, and he was saying that was the thing with his cardio. But then in the Whitaker fight, I felt like he was still looking like he was breathing heavy. Like, I'm like, I don't know if this is just how he looks. It's just
He
his
also
MO.
has that body type where it's like
Very
you're
muscular.
muscular. Like once you get a pump, you're tired. You know.
Yeah, but he's still super explosive.
Yeah,
like again,
very.
I'm not trying to shit on Duplessis at all. I'm giving the facts of what I see,
Yeah.
at least in my opinion, what I think to be fact. And I could be completely wrong on what these facts are. And I just think Sean just has a little bit more tools, doesn't get tired, walks you down, forward pressure is the biggest moments of
Yeah.
Duplessis' career. Sean's been here before, but then of course you gotta look at the emotional factor. Is gonna be in Sean's head and what Sean Strickland is gonna show up. Is he gonna try to just take his head off and make a statement, or is he gonna be calm, cool, collective, take his time, pick his shots like he did against one of the greatest in Israel Adesanya, Adesanya.
Is he real?
Israel. Israel
I'm
Adesanya.
taking Sean by decision.
Israel Adesanya.
I think Sean's gonna win by decision.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be a great
It's gonna be a
fight.
sick fight. Sean's so fun to watch now.
I thought
He's
he was
always been fun to watch.
Yeah,
but
I thought he was
like
always
like
been fun.
I'm following him now. You
Yeah.
know, like more closely. But
Yeah.
yeah.